Hi, it's Sandy Parker and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to be doing some last minute ornaments for Christmas. I hope you'll stay tuned. I know it's last minute, but here's the thing. When kids get out of school, they're going to be bored and you're going to need ideas of how to keep them a little bit busy. And these are really simple things that kids can do. I'm going to be showing you how to do all of these, including this ball. You're just going to take your styrofoam ball, and I'm going to tell you how to do it if you don't have a styrofoam ball, and you'll cover it in this plumber's tape that you get at the hardware store. It's like aluminum foil, only it's thicker. It's very sharp on the edges, so you have to be careful with this part if you're going to let your kids do this. But anyway, what you do is you just cover your whole ball with this, and it's very, very, very sticky, as I said, and I'll show you how sticky it is. It's really hard to pull this off of itself. So you want to cover your ball and then bedazzle it from there. But the other thing you could do, if you didn't want to use plumber's tape, you could use aluminum foil and some glue. Or if you didn't have a styrofoam ball and it is coming down to the wire for things like that, you could take a balloon, blow it up, and then cover the balloon with paper mache. And after it's dried, you would pop the balloon. But I'll link information below on how to make paper mache so that in case you want to do that, you have the information. I was going to put this foil on the ball, and I gave it a big try, and honestly I just couldn't make it work so that it looked good. I had these weird, I don't know, it just didn't look good. So I decided instead what I was going to do is I was going to use the same colors but in those Dollar Tree trim that looks like this. So here's what I'm doing for right now. I took a pin and I just kind of pushed one in at a time, and I think I'm going to start with the green and go around the ball. Wanted you to see the ball as it was before I added. It looks okay, but it's not great, and so we're going to make it look, in my opinion, better, hopefully. I'm going to start with this green, and I'm not going to go all the way into the center because I need to have a spot for my hanger, which is MIA right now. There it is. It's going to go right in the center like that. So I'm going to go right up to that, but I'm not going to go over it. I'm going to start with the green, and I'm just going to lay it right into that hot glue, but I'm going to make it, it kind of is nice that I have that these lines of foil, because now I can see exactly, where everything is in terms of lining it up. I can line it up right up to that turquoise color. I do have, I know it's shocking, but I did find my spatula that has silicone in it, and that's going to be something that we're going to use to push into the ball to make sure that I don't burn myself, because it has a bunch of holes in it, this trim. I don't know if you can see that, and I didn't want to end up burning myself. Well, I will, but I'm going to try not to. And I'm going to start, hold my ball, I'm going to start like that and do little strips. It should be pretty easy to line that up and not end up having any of it, not having it hurt me. And I'm only going to go to the bottom. I'm not going to overlap. I'll show you this. I'll explain it better in a second. See, what I don't want to do is I don't want to end up having this go completely over that centerpiece, because it's going to be better if all of my pieces kind of line up there. Although I think I do have enough of the green to go from top to side. Isn't that hard to believe? So maybe I will do that, just because I don't want to end up having part of the bottom that doesn't have any kind of trim on it. And we're just going to pull it up. And I'm pulling kind of tight, hard, I mean, not tight, kind of pulling hard on that, just to make sure that it does grab the glue. Okay, there's our green. Now with the red, I did kind of trim it already so that when I lay it in place, it's gonna look better. Maybe that was the bottom piece. That might have been the bottom piece. Because see how when you lay it in place, there's not a lot of room for the red. I'm going to do the blue next because I think it'll be easier for me if I have two of the we'll call it the cross hatches. I made that up. We're going to go with it though. You want to make sure that the two that meet here, you know, to make it a cross, that those ones are complete. Need to add some more hot glue to my gun. Lay that so it's right up against that green. If I never showed you this, here's a trick that's nice. If you put a little drop of glue on the end of your new glue stick and you shove it in there and make it line up with the one before it, it'll make it so that you don't have to keep pushing on it and pushing on it. You know how you have to do that when you have a new stick in there? Just saying. I want to make sure my blue piece isn't going on an angle so it's not not lining up with the piece of foil underneath, because you can see through this stuff. So I don't want to have, I don't want to end up having that off at a weird angle. Now this one, this is where I got some hot glue right there. We're gonna have to get that off. This is the bottom of this is where it's technically, this is the top. So I'm going to want to cut that. I'm using my Tim Holtz scissors. These are really good for cutting pretty much anything. I'm just going to, whoop. Now there's the spot where I'm going to be putting the, my center, my hanger. I want to make sure that if I jab that in right there, that it's going to cover the area that I have designated for it, and I think it will. If it doesn't, we'll have to come up with a plan B, and hopefully it does. Hopefully it works out for us. We're going to cross our fingers on that one. And you want to make sure that when you do this, that you start this piece of blue exactly across from where your other piece of blue ended. Turquoise blue. We're going with turquoise or blue. Either thing. That one wasn't lined up properly, so I'm going to take it off and go with it again. There's that. I'm going to have Rich speed this up, but first I want to show you how to make sure that your that all the pieces that you're putting in here will fit. And I'll explain that better as soon as I cut this little piece off. Okay. I think I need to add a little bit of glue underneath that one. Well, I guess not yet. Alrighty. Alright. So there's the top. Let's do gold next. And with the gold is like the red. You're going to want to lay it in place. This is the easiest way that I found to do it. And then you're going to want to just snip out the pieces that aren't going to fit. So on this one, I definitely think that one on either side of my centerpiece. I'm sorry you can't see this probably, but I need to let me just cut it in front of me. Oh, one other thing I want to tell you. I had to trim the edges of this trim. See how I left this one so you could see it. See how there's like fuzzy pieces on the edge? I didn't like how those showed up when I laid them on the ball. So I just did this and just kind of went along the edge and trimmed them off. It just takes you a couple seconds. Well, maybe 20 seconds, half a minute maybe. You just want to make sure that they're clean because you can see them pretty well. when you're looking at your ball. So I want to put my gold piece right there. See how it looks better when I trimmed it so it will line up better? It lines up pretty much right in there. And if you think you need one of your little pieces back, we can glue one of those back. I think I'm going to glue one of these in. I'm going to put a little dollop of glue right there. And then I'm going to take this one. I'm just going to drop it on there, theoretically. And make sure that it's in that spot. Right there. And that way, when I lay this in place, it'll look better because I shouldn't have cut that one off. Okay, so let's put some hot glue here. And I'm going to lay this piece like that. Okay, that looks better. And we're going to add some more. I'm going to have Rich speed it up from this point on because I think you've gotten the gist of it. Okay, then I'm just going to jab, technical term, I'm going to jab a hole right there. That's where this piece is going to go. And when you remove these, you usually have some of the styrofoam stuck to it. So I like to pick off as much of the styrofoam as I can get off of it. Then I like to put the glue on this stem rather than on the ball. I like to put it on this because when I shove this into the center, I know that the glue is already there and is going to hold it in place. So far, so good. These are the little snowflakes that I have, and I thought these are kind of fun. We're going to give those a whirl. And I'm going to still take, they have backing on them that, you know, to adhere them to the ball, but I don't really think that that would hold long term, so I'm putting a little dollop of glue there, and I'm going to put these as many as I can. I think I'm probably going to be able to put like 3 per row, maybe 4. So there is my second styrofoam Christmas ornament ball, and I'm going to show you one more ball, and I'm going to use, on this one, I'm going to be using aluminum foil sheets because I wanted to make sure that you saw that you didn't have to buy the aluminum foil, the foil plumber's tape that I used on the other one. I'm just going to use a piece of this. Same 4-inch ball. Whew. Look, the little thing came right off of it. Okay, same thing. I'm going to take this off and try not to lose it. Oh, geez, part of it broke off. Now let's hope I can hide that. I've already been working on the components of this ball. That's why there's so much stuff laying on my desk. It's worse than usual. That over there. Okay, so what I want to do with this is I'm going to take my aluminum foil. You're not going to really see this aluminum foil. It's just going to be there so that you don't have, you're not going to see the styrofoam. And I'm just going to do this kind of project. I'm just going to kind of wrap it around there. And then the places that I need to clean it up, I'll just, cut some off. Okay, so I got my scissors. The one thing that's nice about doing something like this is, if you didn't know this, if you cut aluminum foil, it really does a nice job of sharpening your scissors. So if you're using aluminum foil like I am here, you're going to be sharpening your scissors at the same time that you're trimming your ball. I know, I'm full of all kinds of useless information. Or useful. You be the judge. I don't know. All right, that seems like that's going to cover that. And then you see where I've got this kind of big, I don't know what we'll call that. It's like a big overlap of aluminum foil. I'm just going to snip that off. I don't want a whole bunch of extra. Do that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I've got a big section right here. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect because, as I said, it's going to be hidden for the most part, but I also wanted to make sure that it doesn't look really bad. Okay, I'm going to put a little hot glue. Pull it up onto that hot glue as tight as you can make it without burning yourself, Sandy. You see how nice a job this does of flattening it out. I know, I should have been using it the whole time. Whoever reminded me to use this, I completely forgot about it. Thanks for reminding me about it. I don't remember who that was. Sherry, maybe? I don't know. Whoever you were, thank you so much because, as usual, I have a lot of hot glue burning me when I don't think these things through. I think you kind of got the gist of this. I don't think you want to, again, watch me hack apart aluminum foil for the next half hour. So let me finish this and I'll be right back. My plan here is to cover the entire ball with this. I'll probably just show you, a little bit of this and then fast forward it because I don't think you're going to want to watch me glue trim onto a ball for an hour. Okay. You really want to make sure when you do this that you get this as tight to the ball as you can, so you want to pull on it. My ball is covered with the mesh. I think it looks pretty good. You can still see glue, but that's okay because I'm going to cover my ball with a lot, and I mean a lot, of these little flowers. And the little flowers, I used this punch. It's an old Stampin' Up! Punch of a flower that's a 5-petal. I don't really know the name of it. It's one of those things. Why don't they put the names of punches on punches? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't say anywhere, but anyway, that's what I'm using is this punch. I use regular white cardstock, and then I have this piece of foam, and I took my pokey tool, and I just push a hole through the center. You want it to be a decent size hole because you're going to be putting these stems through there. So I'm just showing you the last 3. That's the holes. And the beads I got are these Doris Home for the Holidays Red Holly Berries number 3. That's what I'm using. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold them in half like that so that the tops are the same height. And then I'm going to pinch the bottom so that the bottom is flat. You need it to be as flat as you can make it. Hopefully you can see that. If it's not flat enough, I'd take some pliers. These are some wire snips. They'll still work for this though. You just want to take some pliers and just kind of squeeze it so they're flat like that. See how flat it is now? Very flat. You're going to push it through your flower. Bring it all the way down. And if you don't like, if they're not the distance from each other, like if one's too high, and you pull the back so that they're both the same height, like that. And then what I do is if I really mess with it, like this one, I just kind of really mess with it, I pull them and then I kind of separate them so that they won't come back out. And then I always put a little bit of hot glue on the back, and that will hold it in place. That's kind of important because we want them to stay. Look how I'm attached to that. How lucky. I'm going to do 2 more for you so that you can see this again. We're going to fold the berries in half. You want to make sure that your stems are really tight at the bottom like that. I got a piece of fuzz on it. And push it through your flower, front to back, and then pull on the stems so that you get them to be where you want them, like distance wise from the flower. I don't know, let me show you this. So let's say it's like this and you don't want it like that. Pull it from the back so that they're closer to the stem, and then after you got it where you want it, then you're going to put a dollop of hot glue on the back. That'll hold it permanently in place. I think we've got all of the flowers we need. Oh, I'm going to make one of these ornaments too. You can use this as a tag too, but I'll show you how to make that when we're done. I made one of those a long time ago in a video, and someone asked me if I would do it again, and I said sure. So I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start at the top, and if you remember, I was playing with, when I pulled off the hanger, it broke. Well, it was not redeemable, so I had to toss it, unfortunately. So I just tied some silver elastic cord. I tied it in a knot, and then I shoved the knot down inside my ball. Okay, so we have our folded pieces, and I don't know if this is going to work or not, but my plan is I want to use my pokey tool if this will work. I'm going to push it way down in there, and then, oh, now I don't know where my hole is that I just made. Oh, there it is. And then I'm going to push one of my flowers down in there. There's my first 3. Now I have leaves too. What I did with them right off the top of my head, I don't know. Okay. Here's my leaves, like that, I think. Let me give that a little whirl. I don't know, maybe I need one in every one of them. What do you think? Where the voting is open, you decide which one, if you think I need one in every flower. It kind of looks nice if you have one on it, to be honest. I'm thinking I might do one on each one. The other thing I need to do is I need to put a little hot glue underneath so that it stays in the, so my flowers don't come out of the bowl. Because I just basically jammed it in there with the stem. My goal here is that I have enough flowers and leaves to make it look, to hide all of the hot glue that I can see still on the ball. I'm not thrilled about that, so I want to figure out a way to hide that. Look at that. So there's my first 3. I'm just going to keep filling it, and we'll come back. So here is my other Christmas ornament. I think this could be used as something where you'd hang it over a doorway and tell people that it's mistletoe. Could be a lie, but that's what I would try with it. I'll try that on Rich, see what he says. Anyway, that's ball number 2. Then I want to show you how to make this Christmas tree. It's very simple. Oh wait, before I do that, I want to tell you some ideas I had. Let's say that you live somewhere where you can't get the foam balls right now because of COVID, and some of my viewers being in different parts of the world can't get access to craft supplies. So I was thinking about that, and I came up with this idea. Let's say that you have balloons and you blow up a balloon, and then you wrap newspaper that's soaked in, I think it's just flour and water, to make it into like a batter that will stick to the paper. Then you take your newspaper and you pull it through the flour and water mixture, and then you put it on your balloon, and then you let it dry. And once it's dry, you could either put aluminum foil around it like this, or like however you want to do it. But I think that will be the simplest way to make a ball, an orb, if you wanted to. And then once it's dried, you can stick a pin through it and it would break the balloon. If you wanted to break the balloon, you don't absolutely have to, but if you're going to use something like this where you're using pins to, or the stems to push them through, you might need to eliminate the balloon aspect. So that's my idea. Francis, I hope that helped you, because I know you want to make these, but I wasn't sure what else to give you as far as an idea. And then this one, as far as this one goes, any kind of trim would work. You just need to come up with whatever works for you. All you need to do with this one was you'd find any kind of trim that you like and just glue it on. Basically, your ball would be made with the foil, and then this one, you wouldn't even need to have this layer of the trim. You could just put the little flowers all over it if you wanted to. Just my thoughts on that. So let's go to this. This was something I came up with many years ago. It's one of the first things I ever made in a video for Christmas, and I'll make sure I link that video if I can find it on how to do this, but I'm going to make them for you today. What I start with is an old book of some kind. This is an old encyclopedia that I bought at a garage sale that was falling apart, and no, it was not an encyclopedia. It's a dictionary. I don't know what I'm telling you that for. Anyway, I found it at a garage sale. It was falling apart, and I thought I won't feel bad about ruining this book since it's already really beat up. And so that's what I did. So you're going to take, in my case, I'm taking a couple of pieces of this book. First things first, when you're doing this, the most important part is making sure that you've got your hanger inside there before you fold it. So I'm going to use some of that cording that I've been using in the last couple videos, and it's just an elastic cord. I think I got it at Joann Fabrics last year after Christmas. You're going to, whatever you use, you could use yarn, you could use embroidery floss, whatever you want, as long as it's something that will not break. You're going to hold it, you're going to make a loop up at the top, and then you're going to hold it at the bottom, and you're going to make a circle, pull the two ends through, hold on both ends. I don't want my loop to be super big, so I'm going to move my knot a little bit up to the top if I can. And there you have it. There's my knot. I'm going to cut off the excess. You don't need a lot of excess, but you do need a little bit. So don't cut it all off. So I'm leaving probably 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches, but that's going to be for the inside. Then, keep in mind, I haven't made this in a really long time, and it was one of those things where I just kind of came up with a plan and ran with it. So the first thing we're going to do, we've already made our loop, but we're going to make our tree stem, stalk, base, the bottom of the tree. I'm just going to fold paper, and let me tell you how wide my fold is so that in case you want to try this. This is a really fun thing to make with a kid if you want to do projects. This is 3/4 of an inch wide. It could be narrower, it could be wider, it's up to you. And I'm just going to keep folding it until it's the thickness I want it to be. That's probably thick enough. And normally I think I would make it thinner than this, not that wide. Let's see if I could fold it in half. No, I'm not going to fold it in half. Okay, I'm going to cut the rest off. You don't want to hack at this. You want to have a nice even cut because you can see it from both sides, front and back. So I'm just going to cut it so it's even with my base of my tree. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Then I'll use that for something else, probably later. Then, in order to come up with your base, I don't like, when I'm using a dictionary, I don't like to have the extra paper where there's nothing written on it. I like to cut that off. So we don't need that. Then I'm going to put a little dollop of hot glue right along this edge. Not a lot, because I don't want a big gob of it. And then you're just going to close your stem, stalk, I don't know. I for some reason I can't think what you call the base of a tree. I don't know. My brain just went on hiatus. Then I'm going to cut it. See where this line is for the halfway point of a dictionary? I'm just going to cut that off right there. And that's all the more I need. Then we're going to take, I'm going to say 3 pages of my dictionary. I'm just going to close that down. Gluing it shut, closing it down. Oh, before I do anything else, let me do one more thing with that. I'm going to take some distress ink in old paper. I'm holding, if you've never done this, I think this is kind of a fun technique. If you have a couple of these little cubes of distress inks, keep them together and it makes kind of a thing to hold them. It makes it easier to hold on to them. Just saying. And I'm just going to distress my edges. Doesn't have to be perfect. I don't particularly think this looks like old paper. I'm just saying. I think it would look better if I used a different color that's not so green. I might use tie-dye too. Tea-dye. Tie-dye. Again, I'm having one of those moments. Jeez, oh man, tie-dye, tea-dye. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to see what this looks like on here too. I think I like that color better. I'm calling that an old paper look versus that greeny color that they consider old paper. It's not tie-dye. Just in case you wondered, I made that up. I'm going to go around the bottom. I'm really making sure the bottom edge is coated with ink. See that? So that you can see inside it and it's all inked up. Okay. That is all we need to do. We don't need the top because the top is going to be hidden in our tree. All right. Now, you'll have to bear with me for a second because I have to remember how I did this. Again, I have 3 pages here, and I'm going to leave the wonky side on the back, on the bottom. We're going to call it the bottom of our tree. I'm going to put my tea dye on top because I'm going to use that again. So, here's how I did it. I put my cord, my ornament hanger, inside. First I'm going to start folding it. Alright, I think this is how I did it. Keeping in mind, at this juncture, I'm just trying to remember. I think what I did was this. I folded it, then I put a little bit of hot glue in here to hold the ends of my knot. You want to have the knot part hanging outside. Then you're going to fold it again I'm folding it so that the knot at the top, well, I have a cut part that you can't, a part that's frayed, so I gotta cut that off so you can see what I'm doing still. My tree's looking okay. I'm gonna pull my cord so it's outside, but I'm not gonna do that yet because I wanna fold my tree first. So all I'm doing is I'm folding it on a diagonal so that I have a tree shape. So it ends up being like that. Now you can make this as thin or as thick as you want. Your tree can be twice this thickness. You could add more layers than I had. You can pretty much do whatever you want. Then I'm going to cut off this edge. As I said, my paper is so old and rotting, I guess that's what it's doing, that it's making it really hard to cut, so you have to cut it with scissors. Whenever you have a really old book like this that's kind of not perfect, you got to work with what you got. All right, so that's what my tree looks like right now. Then you're going to take your scissors and decide how long do you want your tree. I made this tree, this is 5 inches long, tall. At this point, this tree is 7 inches tall. I think I'm going to make it a little bit shorter than that. And if you make it shorter than that, you could put it on a 5x7 card. I think that would be cool. And I'm just going to cut across. Listen to how that paper is just cracking as I do it. It's kind of sad. All right, I'm going to fix it a little bit more. And then we'll see how tall our tree is. Right now, our tree is a little over 6 inches, and then with the cord, it's like 7.5. I'm going to get rid of my excess paper. This is a very, very fast and easy thing to do for the initial phase. After you make this step, the amount of time it takes really depends on how ornate you want your tree to be. So if you saw how much hot glue I basically went around the edges with my hot glue. And you have to make sure all of your layers are glued down. Okay. And as I do this, another layer will open up. I'm just making sure everybody's glued down. So that's what it looks like right now. Then, don't forget we have this. This is our tree trunk. Trunk! That's what it's called! My gosh, can't believe I came up with it finally. These are the things. When you fold this, you see the inside is open like that. All you have to do, once we distress it, is glue that inside and we've got our tree made. So let's take our tea dye, not tie dye, for those of you who think I lost my mind there, and I kind of did. I'm just going to go around the edges. And it doesn't matter if it's kind of, if you overdo this stage, if you get it all over your tree, it doesn't really matter because your tree, I mean, this is all about what you want your tree to look like. And if you like distressing your tree, then distress it. And if you like it not distressed, don't distress it. And I'm just going to go over the front with a little bit more of it. I don't know, all of a sudden I was going to say tie-dye again. Okay, there's that side. And I'm going to do the back. This side I'm not going to do as much because I want you to see that, you know, you can do however you want to do it. I'm going to put a little of that old paper on this too, because I think it kind of it bridges the gap between the lighter color and the darker color of the tea dye color. You could use the front of it or the back of it for, you know, for your front. I'm going to flip it over and use this as my front because I didn't like that. I didn't like having this border on it. Then, I got to go around the back of this one too. We're onto our trunk now. We want to make sure it's kind of matching the look of the tree. Here's how we're going to put this in. As I said, you're going to squeeze your tree, but before I squeeze my tree, I'm going to put hot glue on the front and on the back. Ooh, it's going to drip. Then you're going to squeeze this and you're going to put it in so that you have a little bit of stem, stalk, trunk showing at the bottom. Now, if you want your tree to be like this, that you could open it, you could even put a gift card in there and make it as your gift if you wanted. I'm just going to put a little hot glue and glue my layers so that they're so that my tree shuts at the bottom. If you don't have hot glue, you can use wet glue, you can use tear tape, you can use a tape runner. You just need something that can glue your tree together. All right, now let's decorate this bad boy. I have this really fun tinsely looking stuff. I'm calling it stuff. I have the elastic, and I was thinking about doing this, and I have some balls. Balls? Are we calling them balls? Hold on, I got to think of what I'd call these. They're little beads. Now that's what we're going to call them. They're beads. And I thought it'd be fun to just put some of these on my project. And the way I want to do it, oh boy, closed down there. I think I got those at a craft store in that has a jewelry department. I think it was called AC Moore, and they're out of business now. But these are Kelly green, and they're Czechoslovakian glass beads, and they're called E-beads. And I was trying to find their size. All it says is 24 grams. I don't think that's going to help you. Anyway, that's what they look like. They're very small. What I want to do with them, I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to make a little bit of a knot. This could be time consuming if you guys are talking about things that would really add to the time that it takes to do this. This is one of those things that's going to really add to the time. I'm going to make a knot and pull it, and then I'm going to put a bead, and then if I can get it on because my ends are a little frayed. Okay, so I'm making my knot, and I want to pull the knot and keep pushing it closer and closer to that bead. See that? Hopefully you can see that. Hopefully my fingers aren't in the way. Okay, then I'm going to go down maybe a couple inches or an inch. I'm going to make another knot. I made a row of beads that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 sets of the green beads with double knots. All right, I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to put some hot glue right across the back. And I'm going to put the cord in it. Hopefully get it to stay there. Pull it a little bit. I'm going to hold it there for just a second. Just to hopefully make sure it's set up. All right. Then I'm going to pull it. Go up a little bit more. This time I'm going to put another dollop of hot glue right there. Now when I do that row, I'm going to put another little dollop of hot glue right back there. Put that in there. I'm trying to pull it so that when I do each, ouch, got a little hot glue on me. What else is new? So that I can make sure that each one of my rows has some beads and it's evenly spaced. I'm going to put another little dollop of hot glue right under that one. And then I'm just going to take my last, I'm going to take this and I'm going to tuck it underneath the back, in the back of my tree here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue back there. And I'm going to fold that under, if I can get this to work. Fold that up in there. Do that. Again, this is the back. It's not that big a deal, but I didn't want it to look really unfinished, you know what I mean? So that's, I think it looks cute so far. Then, oh boy, thought I had my red connected to it. Then I'm going to do a layer of this red tinsel. I think I'm going to cut off the ends, the end of this green so it doesn't stick out the front of my tree. Then I guess I'm just going to start this same thing, only I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to tuck my tinsel up into the tree. Okay, I'm going to tuck the pink, the red, pink, red. I'm going to tuck that up into my tree. And I'm going to put some hot glue and push that right up in there. I have to say, I'm really happy with my tree. As I say, you can use this as an ornament. You could use it as a gift card holder. You could use it as a part of a card. You could use it as the centerpiece of your card so that when they open the card, they would be able to take this off and make it part of their Christmas decorations from that point on. I think that'd be fun. So here's last year's Christmas tree, or not last year's, several years ago's Christmas tree, and our newest Christmas tree, and the two Christmas ornaments we made with styrofoam balls. I hope that you enjoyed this, that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And please tell your friends about me on social media because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.